What's up, guys? JetBurke here, bringing you a video today. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my quality settings as far as the Elgato game capture software goes, the Sony Vegas 12 software goes, and the render settings in Sony Vegas 12. So we're going to jump right into it here with the Elgato game capture software. Disclaimer for you guys: I am using the Game Capture HD 60, as you guys can see right here. So I'm going to be getting a higher bit rate than a lot of the newer capture cards out there, including the previous version of the Elgato. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the settings here. Now, as far as the settings goes, it's pretty straightforward with the Elgato software. It's a great software, so they pretty much do most of the work for you as far as the settings goes. All you have to do is make sure it's Xbox One all the way down with all these settings. Best, it's going to give you 40 megabits per second. I think the max on the previous Elgato is 30 megabits per second, and it is recording at 18.1 gigabytes per hour. I know that's a lot as far as your hard drive space goes, but it will give you the best file size in the end and really give you that raw, nice quality in Sony Vegas to mess with. So jumping into everything else here, I really don't touch any of the settings as far as the brightness, the contrast, the saturation, and the hue goes. I leave it all default. Audio the same way, 0 decibels. Profiles, don't have any profiles I used. I used to test around with profiles in the past now, but I found that Sony Vegas is just a better way to edit the colors, because if you mess with the picture here, as for instance, if you turn up the brightness, it'll turn up the brightness on your TV because it's filtered through the capture card. So you really just don't want to mess with that because it'll mess with your gameplay as well. So you just really want to mess with it in Sony Vegas after the fact. Just make sure you have it set to the best, and it'll give you 40 megabits per second output. And that's pretty much it for the Elgato as far as the settings goes. There's nothing special here. Just making sure you guys copy these settings, and that's pretty much it. This is also default, the TV compatibility. Just letting you guys know that all these settings are default. I pretty much don't do anything in the Elgato software. So moving on to Sony Vegas, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it here. I've got a GTA 5 clip prepared. We were preparing for a heist. I think we were moving out or something, but I'm going to go ahead and put that clip in here so we can mess with it today. Move this up a little bit. Oops. Get this up a little bit so we can put our file in there. If my computer will work with me today. So as this video is loading in and doing what it needs to do, let me go ahead and tell you guys that this quality settings video was requested by someone in the comment section, and this video is kind of geared towards them, but anyone else that watches this video can use these quality settings and tell me how they work for you, and just give me some feedback as far as the comment section goes. We can use that comment sections down there for this video just to give me feedback as far as the settings go. See if they work for you. Tell me if you guys run into any problems, anything like that. So let's go ahead and put this video in here. It's loading up now. Put it full screen. Nice GTA 4 gameplay. Excuse me, GTA 5 gameplay. I'm going to go ahead and find a good spot to show you guys the difference between the qualities. Let's go ahead and test it right here at the beginning. So, just want to find where we can get a gamer tag to show you guys the quality of the difference as well. So, we got Trill Jesus right there demonstrating the gamer tag and the car as well. And we got a little bit of a background. So, let's go ahead and there we go. That's a nice background to demonstrate off of. So, I'm going to go ahead and cut the clip. And go to 20 seconds, 19 seconds here. Get his name in the frame. And go ahead and show you guys what I use. So jumping right into it here. The first setting that I usually use is going to be a color corrector. Go ahead and add that in. Bring that to the side here. So as far as color corrector goes, what I usually use is a custom preset here. I'm usually don't mess with any of this right here. I don't mess with this first section. I go ahead and go to the custom section. And as you can see here, the things that I'm going to be messing with is saturation and gamma, and that's going to be all for this color correction. So I have my own preset here. You guys can go ahead and pause the video, get these settings, and copy them over if you wish. I'm going to go ahead and click the Burhke preset, and it's going to give us just a little bit of a nicer color tone overall. As you guys can see, it changed there on the screen for you guys as well. I'm going to go ahead and deselect that. As you can see, it looks a little bit pale, and we just give it that nice little hue, as in, you know, that little nice little color action as we select the color corrector again. So the second effect that I use is going to be an unsharp mask, and this is probably the key element in the making of most of my videos on GTA 4. I really found out about this color corrector for the Here We Go Again video, and it really turned out nice, and I got a number of comments about the quality with that video. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I did to that video as far as the unsharp mask goes. The link to that will be in the description as well. So an unsharp mask right here, we have the amount, the radius, and a threshold. So I do have a preset for that for you guys. You guys can go ahead and easily copy it over to your Sony Vegas as well, and just save it with this button right here and rename it. So we're gonna go ahead and put the JetBurke preset on, and as you can see, everything just kind of popped at that moment. Everything, you can see almost everything down the street now. It's just a lot easier to see things. It just made it a little bit clearer as far as the blur goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and deselect that again to show you guys exactly what I mean. So if we deselect that, you guys can kind of see we get a blur all around the screen. I don't know if it's from the Elgato raw game capture footage, or if it's just from game capture in general. I don't know if it just comes out like that as far as like the TV footage goes or whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and select that again and show you guys what I mean as far as the clarity goes. It just gives it that oomph, like, you know, that pop. So it just makes a video look a lot better as far as that goes. And again, this is what I've used in the Here We Go Again video, and it did pretty well as far as that goes. Now, I did not use these unsharp mask in the recent 2K video that I posted, which will be in the description right now, because just because I forgot about it, honestly. But I did use the color corrector in that video. The color corrector was the only effect I used in that My Park gameplay. But if I were to add the unsharp mask to that gameplay, it would have probably looked a lot better as well. But then again, it does depend on the game that you're playing. So something like GTA with a lot of detail will probably need an unsharp mask because it just shows a lot of the background stuff. And something like 2K, you're only looking at a court and the people on the court. So there's not really a lot to look at as far as the background goes. So you really have to just use your discretion and decide if it's something that you need to use for the game and just really play around with it. So the third and last effect that I kind of like to use sometimes, but I'm really iffy about it, just because, like I said, it depends on the game. So some games really don't need it, but it's sharpen. I'm going to go ahead and add that here. Now, as you can see, I added that, and it kind of makes everything look a little bit grainy. So if I point to the map here and just kind of circle around that, you guys can see that the map kind of looks a little bit grainy now, and as Trill Jesus, his name, actually looks a little bit grainy as well. So I'm going to go ahead and deselect sharpen and show you what I mean. You see the map kind of looks a little bit smoother and everything else like that. His name looks smoother. The name of the text right here looks smoother. So I'm going to go ahead and put my preset on. As you can see, I use a 0.075 sharpen. You don't want to use a lot of sharpen on your videos, purely because sharpen, you just don't need a lot of sharpen, first of all. It's something that really makes it pop, and if you use too much, it'll get really grainy. So I like to use this amount of sharpen. I found it to be pretty good as far as my videos goes. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. You can kind of see it just gives it just a little bit of a pop, but not too much, so it doesn't leave that grainy effect in the background. So these are basically the three effects that I use. It's pretty straightforward. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into the render settings that I use. So I like to use two file types as far as render settings goes. These are both good for YouTube. As they say in the description, I think I'm going to go into the template here. I really don't like to use this one right here, solely because it just takes a little bit longer to render, and sometimes it appears just a little bit blurry on YouTube for some reason. But I'm going to go ahead and show you the settings anyway. So jumping into it here, it's all pretty straightforward. 20 million BPS on maximum and average variable bitrate. I've been doing tests between constant bitrate and variable bitrate, but I really don't see a big difference between the two. The settings are pretty straightforward. Pause the video if you need to copy settings if you want. Jumping into the audio, I don't mess with that or anything like this. You can check your GPU to see if you have anything to help it with the rendering and make it a little bit faster. Video rendering quality is always going to be on best. Make sure you get your best quality out there. Stereoscopic 3D mode, you're not going to use. We don't have 3D videos or anything like that. Color space is always going to be default. You don't want to mess with that either. So press OK there. See, it made a new one there, but we don't need that. So for the all-star settings that I use, the settings that I love to use, the favorite settings, the settings that I just come on and click on and render as soon as the video is done, I do like to use these settings right here. Sony AVC, MVC, best for YouTube. You can see right here, suitable for uploading to internet sites and everything like that. So video format's going to be AVC. You don't want it in memory stick, of course. Everything is pretty much straightforward from there. You can just copy the settings if you want. Can't edit this, can't edit that. You want a none, progressive scan. You don't want to do any of this. It's going to mess up your video big time. I like to use a 16 million BPS. It's pretty much a random number as far as it goes, because anything under 10 million, I believe, YouTube really like breaks down anyway. So if you're rendering anything over, I'd say 15 million in general, you're really just going to increase your rendering time, and that's just going to make a longer video. So here we go with the audio settings. Everything's pretty straightforward. You guys can pause the video to get the settings if you want. Again, you can use OpenCL if you have that and on your computer to help it render a little bit faster. Of course, you want to use the best. Color space default, and you don't want to mess with 3D mode again. And that's pretty much going to be it for the render settings. So these are the settings that I use for my videos. Pretty straightforward. Not too much special. It's really the unsharp mask that really makes a lot of these videos look good, and I'm probably going to start using that more. This video was actually requested in the comments section, and when I went and started looking at the settings that I actually use in the effects, I found out that I forgot about the unsharp mask and didn't use them in my last two videos. So I'm probably going to start using them, and you guys will probably see a little bit of a difference in the quality of the videos. So if this video helped you at all, I would really appreciate it if you could like the video, comment on how the settings worked for you. Tell me if you found any better settings that I can use and test out as far as it goes. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It's been JetBurke, and I'm out. See you guys later.